Found out through an angry vent given by my mother, sounds like me, that most of my cousins aren't legitimate. And most of my aunts had lied to their husbands about the true father of their children. Oh my god. Family drama. Also found out that there was a very large niche of the family I had never met and that no one really admits to. Because they're all inbred. Oh my god. That's insane. But before we get to the rest of that, what's up? Thanks for coming back for another creepy video. Today we are going to read some people telling their darkest family secrets. It's about to get spicy. Lots of family tea and drama.
I love it.
But as always, don't forget to subscribe, be part of the Socially Awkward family, and follow me on Instagram and check out channel memberships. Links are all down below. And give this video a like and a share. And comment below if you have a secret that you would like to share with us. And it won't be a secret anymore. I don't know, up to you. But yeah, I think we're ready, so let's do it. I married this woman a few years ago. After dating her a while, I could tell there was something strange about her family. She claimed that she didn't know what part of the world her ancestors were from. Didn't know where her last name came from. Her parents had blonde hair and blue eyes, but had Latino accents. I later found out that their first language was Portuguese and they were from Brazil. Anyway, about a year after we were married, she sat me down and explained that her grandparents were avid Nazis who fled to Brazil just before the war ended. Yeah, they left because their team was losing. She obviously didn't like for people to know this and had a hard time finding a way to tell me. I didn't really care. I told her that I loved her for who she was and it didn't matter who her grandparents were. All that mattered was who she was. Yeah, make sure she's not a racist Nazi. And then later on, she finally took him to Brazil or wherever they are and introduced him to her grandparents, who are Nazis. I would not go on that trip. And this is a quote directly from her grandparents. If you are going to be a part of this family, you have to understand what we are planning. This is not some sad little nursing home for the Nazi way of life to die. It is merely an incubator. They still believe in that after they lost? Girl, you crazy! You just need to start a new family. Don't tell anyone where you're from, because that's not good. When I first started dating my girlfriend, I was invited to her very conservative Catholic parents' 25th wedding anniversary party. I was hanging out with her and her 24-year-old brother afterwards. That's very important that he's 24 at their 25th wedding anniversary. Think about it. And she was talking about how her mom found her birth control earlier that week and lectured her about how wrong premarital sex was. We weren't having sex, by the way. I quick did some mental math and said, she shouldn't talk since your brother's birthday is in 5 months. They both look at me with a crazy amount of shock in their faces. They had never figured that out. Yeah, they had her brother before they were married. Hypocrite! My grandmother's cousin married a man she met in college. They had a daughter and were married for maybe 40 years. 3 years ago, he passed with cancer. We were not shocked at this. After all, he was approaching 70 and had a bad form of cancer, and it was spreading fast. What we weren't prepared for was that after he passed, his wife found a journal of his which explained that for 35 years, he was having another relationship with a man. He was cheating on her nearly the entire time. 35 years with the man. Oh my god. How could you do that to her? Why didn't you leave? I feel bad for the other guy. He was just a side piece for almost 40 years. Thought my parents divorced just as a mutual agreement, but my father had an affair. Ugh, your dad's not a great person. He was a cop and slept with his partner's wife. You ruined 2 families? Up there for biggest piece of crap award. Yeah, I was 6 years old when all this happened, 19 now and just found out a couple months ago. Father also hates me because I decided to get out of the army after breaking both of my legs at airborne school. He has to leave. You get discharged if you break something. Later found out that he got out of the Marines for having flat feet that hurt. And his sister told me that he drove from Georgia to Florida every weekend because he hated his time in the Marines so much. Tries to tell me I am a wuss and disowned me. Y'all's parents are such hypocrites. And hey, the military is hard. Don't be ashamed if it's not for you. They make you run like a mile. Ugh, I would die. A long time ago, back when I was still in middle school, my mom's best friend died. She wouldn't tell me how she died, only that it was sudden. When I asked why we weren't going to the funeral, she told me that there wouldn't be one because her body was being donated to science. I didn't ask any more questions. That was the last time we ever talked about her. Well, 5 months ago, my mom handed me her phone to find the number for Domino's, and as I'm scrolling through her contacts, I come across the phone number of the dead best friend. Biggest WTF moment of my life. The next day, I called it from a payphone at Waffle House, and she picked up. I instantly recognized her voice and accent. She's not dead. Second biggest WTF moment of my life. Why'd your mom lie about her best friend dying? That's so unnecessary. What'd she do? It's not like she did something bad and she wanted her out of her kid's life, cause then she wouldn't still have her number. Like, she wouldn't still want contact with her, but she did. I don't get you. My mom was born in Colombia and moved to the US when she was 12. Never knew much about her family or any of my own family history. I was already aware that the Italian side of my family had ties to the mob in New Jersey and eventually moved to Miami, where my parents eventually meet. Through Google, I also found out that my grandfather was a snitch. Ended up being in witness protection program after being implicated in a murder and being indicted for selling massive amounts of cocaine. Okay, I thought I can deal with that knowledge. Crappy about the coke, but maybe my mom's side wasn't so bad? No, it is. Thanks to ancestry websites and Google, I soon discovered multiple newspaper articles from the 1980s that would indicate that my maternal Colombian grandparents were the leaders of a massive pot smuggling ring, which, at the time, was referred to as the largest pot smuggling operations ever carried out in the US. Both my grandparents were sentenced to over 250 years each. Wow. But after that, my trail ran cold and I do not know how or when they died. Family rumors would have me believe that my grandfather died of a heart attack in jail soon after hearing that my grandmother was murdered in Colombia. My mom never talks about it and I don't feel comfortable asking. So basically, his Italian grandparents were coke dealers and his Colombian grandparents were prolific pot smugglers who ran the biggest operation in the US. Wow, that's kind of impressive. You have some interesting family history. This happened in May of this year. I have a sister who is 4 years older than me and a half-brother who is 14 years older than me, from a different father. My aunt, my mom's sister, sent out an email to the entire family that vented about 60 years of hatred towards my mother. Right at the end of the email, my aunt clearly indicated that my mom had another kid that no one knew about and had given the kid up for adoption. Huge news to my family who knew nothing about this. That is just low. Like, that's her personal business. If she wanted to give that kid up for adoption, maybe at the time, she couldn't properly care for it, and she gave it to a family that could. Shame on you. My parents used to always joke about how we picked the wrong boy at the hospital. That's not a good joke. They told me that I was born in almost the exact same time as a boy whose parents abandoned him. The boy was almost the same size as well. Now, you'd think that this would never happen, but I was born in China at a hospital that somehow mixed us two up. Essentially, they weren't exactly sure if I was the son of my parents. My mom looked at the two of us and swore that I was the one, despite the nurse's tags stating otherwise. Genetic tests were relatively expensive then and were refused by my mother. They didn't care at the time since there was no parent to claim the other boy. So you don't know if you're actually your parents' child? Wow. I found out that one of my ancestors was exiled from Russia for challenging an army officer to a duel with swords and winning. My ancestor worked in the Caesar's stable, and the argument arose when the army officer insisted on riding my ancestor's horse. The horse threw him off and the army officer shot it. That's just rude. You don't shoot a horse. He's like, you're not my guy. Get off. I love horses. They're amazing. My cousin is actually most likely my sister. Okay, where's that story? I want to know. But we're gonna save that for next time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Again, don't forget to subscribe, be a part of the Socially Awkward family, and follow me on Instagram and check out channel memberships. Links are all down below. And give this video a like and a share. But that's it. So I will see you awesome people next time.